welcome. I apologize, a little under the weather, but everything's good. We're going to come out. We went into executive session at 5:30. We're coming out of executive session. What we did was we did an interview today. Interviews 3 amazing women with applications for this vacancy of Commissioner Lewis's seat. So we're going to come out. The hard decision, we sat down and we discussed it, and we come to the conclusion that right now is that Ms. McDuff will be filling the vacancy for Kathleen Lewis.
We need to actually start now the official meeting. Okay, we've come out of executive session. The clerk is waiting to open the meeting. So.
Yeah.
Open it here. You want to stay there, right?
Yeah.
Adequate notice of this meeting of Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, January 17th, 2023, at the divided posting of the annual meeting schedule of the said council in accordance with section 13 of the Open Public Meeting Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian Times in the Ledger December 11, 2022. Now, inspiration
May we carry out our work at this meeting with just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep one's a wonderful community in which to live. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So there has to be a motion. Do we know that?
Mr. Father,
Here.
Mr. Connectney,
Here.
Mr. Howard,
Here. I guess they would say.
Mayor, we don't have a specific agenda item, but it was noticed in our public notice that the interviews were taking place today. I would like to make a suggestion that you now select the council member replacement. So if someone would make a nomination, if someone was second it, and if we could have a vote before we proceed with the rest of tonight's agenda.
I get a motion for the
Mayor, I'll move. First of all, the council wants to thank the Lawrence Municipal Committee for the 3 names. This was a difficult decision. And we're very blessed to have 3 wonderful candidates for this vacancy created by Commissioner Lewis. The one thing that I would like to remind all of the nominees is after 20 years, I'm retiring at the end of the year. So there's going to be a second opportunity for a council vacancy. But I would be very happy to move Katie McDuff to fill the council vacancy.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second that motion. I think it was a difficult decision. Really great candidates, all 3 of you. Please stay involved in the township. We need you.
Mr. Father,
Yes.
Mr. Connectney,
yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Reed.
Yes.
Okay, so. Can we do that swearing in right now?
Yeah.
Are we ready, Madam Clerk? Okay.
We are ready.
Mr. Dunn, do we have a Bible?
Township.
You go down at that end by the clerk.
Is Anthony here? Is he here?
I didn't know you had someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Assemblyman.
Somebody would like to. Council, we're
And I'm
good.
sorry,
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't know who was going to swear in, so I put down. So I'm
Is that her mom?
Yes, my mom.
You want to hold the Bible? Hold the Bible.
I'm unmarried, so I brought my mother.
Well, that's good. Let your mom hold the Bible. Raise your right hand, Anthony, or I'm sorry. Our assemblyman will follow along.
Okay, let's try this again for Ms. Hott. Just a point of
personal privilege. I grew up here in Lawrence Township, and it's a great honor to come back here and be able to administer the oath of office for Ms. Catherine McDuff, Councilwoman. I've known Catherine a long time. I refer to her as Katie. She was my freeholder aide when I was a freeholder on a freeholder board here in the county. And I've watched her. I've known her most of her life. And I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I'm so ecstatically happy to be able to administer this oath of office this evening. So now, Catherine McDuff, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
Catherine McDuff,
Catherine McDuff,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform the duties of council member
and that I will impartially and justly perform all duties of council member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Councilman.
Thank you.
As the teary-eyed mother walks away.
Good job, Mom. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And a seat.
Thank
And a seat.
All right.
Special proclamations, recognition, and presentations. One, can I get a motion to find? Please, we have Peter Kirkapis, please, for CFO.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council, Manager Nowinski, Madam Clerk. Thank you for having me. Tonight is really the first public step of presenting the 2023 budget, but it's been going on since last April, right after we adopted the 2022 budget. So under New Jersey law, our revenues must equal our appropriations in every one of our adopted budgets. We cannot bond for any operational expenses, so whatever appropriations are before us must be raised in the budget. That's done through four sources of revenue, no more, no less. We use surplus that's generated from prior years' unexpended balances or excess revenue. Municipal revenues anticipated, those are some items, construction fees, liquor licenses, that kind of revenue, delinquent taxes, and the municipal levy. Now, the revenues anticipated can't be budgeted more than what was actually received in the prior year. That means that if somebody says, well, Pete, you're going to bring in so much in construction revenue, that's fine, but unless we actually received it in cash in the prior year, you can't anticipate greater than that. The next hurdle for the revenue is the municipal levy. We are subject to the levy cap, and the state, the Division of Local Government Services caps that at 2%. You can't go over the prior year's levy greater than 2%. If you so happen to come in under the 2%, they permit you to bank the difference for use in the following years. Once that's exhausted,
you're no longer permitted to go above that amount. That side of the revenue must equal our appropriations, which is really broken down into two pieces. The first piece we call in caps, and that part of the appropriation is subject to, we call the appropriations cap. Every year, the division comes out with a percent based on inflation and their calculation, and it ranges from 0% to 2.5%. Even if inflation is greater than 2.5%, that's what we're stuck with. This year, they came out with 2.5%. That also has some exceptions that's part of the calculation. Then the second part of the appropriations are items that are excluded from caps. Those are items such as debt service, capital improvement fund, really non-operational items. Part of that excluded from caps is what's called reserve for uncollected taxes. That's a non-spending appropriation. That means we budget for it in the municipal budget. It's to close the gap between what we collect in taxes and what's due to the school and the county. They get 100% of their budget. Even if we bring in less than 100% of the taxes, we have to make that up in our budget. That comes to about, that's a little over 7% of our budget that's non-spendable. It closes that gap. Here are some pressures on our budget. The top half, salary wages, those are our bargaining agreements. That's the cost of living, increases. New staffing. We have in this budget firefighters, EMTs. So that's part of the appropriations. Employee group health, everybody's heard about going up this year. The state knows about it. It is what it is. We are fortunate that we did not go up the 22% that the state had, the actuaries came up with. We're about a little over 10%. It's all based on what plans employees take, what levels they're at. We have our pension obligations. That's the township's obligation, the township's portion of the pension. Debt service, interest rates have gone up. Dispatch services, we just opened a new bid for our dispatch. Lead testing. It's a new mandate that housing units, rentals get tested for lead. That's gonna cost us for this year's budget because we have to pay the laboratory to do the testing. And capital improvement fund, that's a normal appropriation, equipment, building improvements, road work, that's what falls in there. So to offset those increases, the bottom half is revenues. So notable increases in revenues. The state has a new, for this year, had a new state aid called the Municipal Relief Fund. We also have the local cannabis 2% tax. That $450,000, this is a good example, that $450,000 is 2 quarters of the cannabis tax. Even though we know we might bring in more, we have 4 quarters in a year, I can't anticipate revenue greater than that. That's what we brought in. Recreation services has bounced back from the pandemic. Interest on investments has come back a little bit from the increased interest rates. Surplus that we always use to balance the budget, and amount to be raised by taxation. That covers the shortfall of the revenues and the appropriations. This is the state of our appropriation bank and our levy cap bank. We have a levy cap bank that's available to us if we were to need to use a little over $5 million. And on the appropriation side, we have a total availability of $765,000. This year, because of all of the increases in our appropriations, we actually went back and we used our 2021 bank to cover that. So Lawrence is fortunate to have the state of our banks that we have. This is the current breakdown of the budget that was adopted in 2022 because we're now in 2023. or looking into our tax rates. So this is the breakdown: school, county. County's made up of their general fund, their library fund, and their open space. Our local portion and our municipal open space portion. In front of council is the actual budget document. It's the long document. It complies with all the state mandates, it complies with the levy cap, the appropriation cap. And the capital improvement fund is in there. That will be, the next step would be to introduce it formally to council. This is just a recommendation. And after the introduction, it would be the adoption.
Mayor, may I ask Pete a question?
Yes, sir.
Pete, first of all, thank you so much for all your hard work on this budget over such a long period of time. I just want to ask you a couple questions just to make things very clear for the people here and people that are listening online. This budget is a recommended budget, right? It starts off the process, and the recommended increase is what?
2.75 cents on the tax rate. 1 cent is equal to $470,000. So that's 2.75 cents on our tax rate. This column here, or it is the portion of the tax rate that each line item corresponds to. Lead testing, 0.26 cents. That's what lead testing will cost. Not necessarily taxes, but that's what revenue needs to be generated.
And for the average property owner who pays taxes?
The average homeowner is assessed at approximately $300,000. This increase would increase their municipal portion approximately $85 for the year.
Yeah.
So $21 a quarter.
Yeah. I'm cheating. I'm looking at it. It's $82.50. Just to make it's always good to go a little higher so I could say a lower number to you. And council, all of the materials are going to be made available to you at the manager's office. Anybody wants to meet with Peter or I to discuss items as you go through it, we certainly will be very grateful for that. The more you know about this budget, the better for all of us. And so this begins the process of your scrutiny, and I look forward to your thoughts on it.
Two quick questions. Mr. Kirkadis, the lead testing, is that a federal mandate or a state mandate?
I believe it came from the state.
It's a state law, just enacted. And for the budgeting purposes, we will be allowed to collect fees, $150 or $175 per inspection, but we must, since we're not collecting it yet, we must put a number on what we believe the cost will be. We've identified about 400 housing units that may qualify and require this type of testing. And based upon the estimates that we've gotten from some of the companies that will be providing this testing, this puts us in that range. But in 2024, we'll have realized the revenue of that. And so this is just something we have to deal with forward thinking.
And then, Mr. Mayor, if I can follow up with the manager, one of the things that I'm thinking about charging residents a fee for this lead testing, want to make sure that it's affordable to our residents. So figuring out what the appropriate
So
sort of
this is
and I know we could probably talk for for a
It's
while. on
fine,
that,
but it's a state law. It's not a municipal, a state law that is required of every municipality.
Understood.
Okay.
And then one last thing for Mr. Pickles. So where does that put us percentage wise in terms of the cap? Like, so you said there's
So the levy cap, we are well under the levy cap.
that,
Not having to go back into levy cap bank. Appropriation cap, we needed to go back to the 2021 bank, which, by the way, will, if it's not used, it will expire. They're not indefinite. They drop off. So we're utilizing, the 2021 bank right now sits at about, I think it's about 900,000, a little over 900,000. So we're utilizing 723,000 of it to bring us into compliance with our appropriations. If we used none of that 2021, it would have expired, just would have dropped off. So we're fortunate to have it. And I don't think we're unique. I've spoken to other CFOs. There's a chat group that goes around. There's a lot of these appropriation pressures that are happening.
well, and I was just going to finish, Mr. Mayor, that I appreciate the hard work that you and the manager have done with this budget in terms of, I think all of us have been feeling the inflationary pressures over the last year. So to have this budget do what it does, we'll see with the departmental reports, but so far so good. So
I
thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you. And Mayor, just to follow up on Councilman Bobbitt's question about the inflationary pressures, I know about the 2.5% inflationary cap. When you did your budget, did you project a higher inflationary rate? Just because we know everything is going up, and I just want to say, good question. We're not caught. So, great question. So, prior to the budget being adopted, there will be an ordinance presented to council that the state permits council to adopt an ordinance that pushes the 2.5% up to 3.5%. No more. 3.5% is the number. That difference between 2.5% and 3.5%, in our case, will be banked for future use.
You do it every year.
Every year.
Yeah.
We do it every year. It's appropriate. It's the right thing to do.
And just to add on to that, Councilman Powers, we're able to also forecast some of the larger contracts that we have. So our garbage contract is going to end November 30th, 2023, and we can project a significant increase with regard to that. Our dispatch service came in at almost 30% higher, in the 20 and 30% higher. So these renewal contracts that we have, we're going to experience some significant upticks to have to deal with in 2024. And the last thing that I would like to say is, with the cannabis receipts that we've had of Pete, tell me if I'm wrong, $450,000. If they were in operation for all of 2022, the expectation was about $900,000. And that $450,000 that we're not able to claim on our budget is almost a penny, which would, in theory, brought us down to $1.75. It's just, we're lucky to have it. Just we weren't able to realize the full benefit of a full year of operation. So just something to think about.
And Mayor, just to follow up on that, because the link comment, if you only use the 2 quarters of the 450,000, I know you're leveraging 9.9 million of the reserve for this budget. Could we go 10 million? No, we're going to get the 450,000. I know sometimes there's a boomerang effect when we do that.
Sure, we could discuss that. I'll discuss it with the manager. Sure.
And
This is our first look at it, you know.
right, it's the first look. And the one thing that we always want to make clear is that we use only as much of the surplus as we know that we can regenerate. We don't want the surplus to trend downward. So that's the kind of sweet spot. We want to make sure that we're growing it because we gain the benefit of not having to bond out, not having to pay high interest rates. Because the interest we were talking today, where we were getting 1 or 2%, we're now at 4 or 5%. Should we have to bond to get capital work done? And we benefit by this higher surplus by not having to do that, to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we really have to be mindful. I know it's we have it. It's like, we want to kind of take it, but 9.9 million that we're using, we can forecast that we will be in a slightly better spot in 2024, January 1st, than we were January 21st, 2023 by using this amount of money.
And I just want to follow that the 9% really didn't include that 450,000.
No. Yeah.
No, no. It does not. It's a separate, right? It's a separate source.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anticipate, when do we anticipate an introduction?
Introduction will be March 7th.
First week of March. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's March 7th.
Thank you, Pete.
In between today or tonight and March 7th, I believe the department heads will present themselves in front of council.
Right.
Thank you.
Any public participation? 5 minutes. Sorry, is there any public participation? 5 minutes. See, now we'll close public participation. You have your agenda. Seeing none, make a motion to move 8A, please.
Mayor, unless there's an objection, I'll move the regular meeting of December 6th, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Bobby?
Yes.
Mr. Connectney?
Yes.
Ms. McDonough? Yes. Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Mayor
Yes. Can I get a motion of 9A, please?
Mayor, I'll move 9A, number 45, authorizing awarding the contract for traffic signal maintenance 2023.
Second.
We are required to maintain certain traffic lights and signals, and this is our annual contract to renew for Techno Pro Electrical for the amount of $16,286.
Is there any public participation for this? Seeing none, we'll close that. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobby?
Yes.
Mr. Connectney?
Yes.
Ms. McDonough?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes.
Mayor, move 9B, number 46, authorizing awarding renewal of bid 18-11 refuse collection and trash disposal for an additional year, December 1st, 2022 to November 30th, 2023.
Second.
This is for our final year of a contract with Central Jersey Waste and Recycling for the amount of $942,012.50. We are going to be meeting with them tomorrow, I think, to discuss some of the issues that have been taking place post-pandemic. But we believe it's appropriate at this time to renew.
Is there any public participation for this? Seeing none, we'll close that. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobby?
Yes.
Mr. Connectney?
Yes.
Ms. McDonough?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 10A, please?
Yes, it's a new year, Mayor, so I'll move 10A, ordinance number 2413-23, ordinance providing the sidewalk improvements in and by the township of Lawrence and County of Washington, New Jersey, appropriating $10,012.50 therefor, and directing the special assessment of the cost thereof.
Second.
This is our sidewalk improvement program. Each year, we offer residents the opportunity to repair their sidewalks at a greatly reduced rate and allow them to pay overtime through the collection from our tax collector's office. And this is the amount that we have for special assessment at this time.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobby?
Yes.
Mr. Connectney?
Yes.
Ms. McDonough?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Adoption of ordinances. Board Manager's report, please.
I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Attorney's report, please.
I don't have anything there.
Mr. Roscoe. Madam Clerk, is there anything? Appreciate you. Thank you. Unfinished business, none. New business. Any new business up here?
And council for
I don't have anything.
Can I just-
There's a lot of wisdom in that.
I saw the way that it was flowing. So I thought- No, if you don't mind, Mr. Mayor, if I could just take a second to just say thank you to the council for your vote of confidence, to the residents of Lawrence out there. Thank you. All right, hold on, okay. To the residents of Lawrence, my name is Katie MacDuff, lifelong Lawrence resident, very excited to serve. To Olympia and to Heather, thank you both so much. You know, you guys are awesome. I'm really hoping we continue to work together. Please stay involved. You're fantastic. Looking forward to all the good we can do for the town.
Public participation, 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll close that. Make a motion for 18A, please.
Manager Nowinski and Mr. Roscoe, do we have a closed session?
No, I do not need one tonight.
We're gonna miss Commissioner Willis because she used to handle the resolutions. And now we kind of inherited this. So I'm gonna move 18D1 through H3 the block.
Second.
Mr. Bobbitt,
Yes.
Mr. Knappy,
Yes.
Ms. McDuff,
Yes.
Mr. Powers,
Yes.
Mayor Rogers.
Yes. Is there any council initiative or liaison reports?
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I do have something.
No.
Apparently,
Hold the phone.
the ever popular Growth and Redevelopment Committee had a wonderful meeting in which we talked about a website that will be coming up this year, I believe, that will highlight local businesses. It's something that between staff, committee, as well as some technologically savvy committee members have been putting together a website culling. We've sort of achieved we've finally gotten hold of the holy grail that Growth and Redevelopment Committee has been looking for a long time, which is a current up-to-date listing of local businesses. It's been put into a database. We're starting to do some beta testing on it, but it will be a way for local residents to sort of skip the global search engines, which will give you franchisees in other towns and really focus in on what's here in Lawrence. And it won't be just restaurants, but it'll also be things that people ask oftentimes on social media. Where can I get my air conditioner fixed and things like that? So we're looking for something that'll be very helpful. Manager's been working. I thank you, manager, for having staff that has the time to do this.
Mr. Dinwoodie's out there right now. He's done a lot of hard work on it.
Yes. And so we're looking forward to that. That's kind of our big thing. So, very exciting stuff. Thanks.
Anyone else? No written communications, no executive session. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Thank you so much for coming. See you going home.
You got it. Nice job.